Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the Football Wizards. In this video, we are going to discuss all about FPL midfielders and in my opinion the most important position to nail this year. If you find our videos helpful, please don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. Now let's look at the top performing midfielders in the Premier League last year. Here they have been arranged according to their total points. To put things into perspective, let's rearrange them into three categories: premium, mid-priced and budget. According to our categorization, Salah was the top scoring premium midfielder, Sigurdsson the top scoring mid-priced midfielder and Milivojevic was the top scoring budget midfielder last year. Before moving on, let's decide the total budget that we are going to spend on our midfield. We have split this answer into two parts based on whether your strategy includes a premium forward or not. In case you plan on going without a premium forward, you can spend up to 45 million on your midfield. Please do check our previous videos of this series where we discuss the budget allocation for forwards and defenders. If you do plan to own a premium forward, then this is how you should allocate your budget. You should not take the entire money out from midfield, rather take a couple of million out from defense and the rest from midfield. Since there are a lot of midfielders to choose from, especially in the mid-priced and budget category, we will make this video a little differently from the other videos of this series. The one midfielder who is a must-have in my opinion is Salah. With 259 points last season with 22 goals and 12 assists, Salah scored 6.8 points per game. Also with Liverpool having a very kind fixture list at the start of the season, Salah will provide an easy captaincy option as well. The next player which I would like to strongly recommend is Raheem Sterling. He was the second highest scoring player in FPL behind Salah with 234 points last season. Even this year, he looks really sharp in pre-season and we are expecting big things again from him. Although I recommend that you go with both Salah and Sterling, I have also proposed some options at the end if you want to go without Sterling. The third player that we have selected is Ryan Fraser of Bournemouth. He was the pick of the budget midfielders last season, and although priced at 7.5 this time, we still feel that he can be a very decent player to have, especially with Bournemouth's fixtures at the start. He scored 181 points with 7 goals and 14 assists at 4.8 points per game last season. The next player which we have selected is Everton's Gylfi Sigurdsson. He was at the top of the list of the mid-priced players with 182 points. Scoring 13 goals and 6 assists, he was the best of the Everton midfielders last season. And with Everton playing none of the top 6 teams at the start, we expect really good returns from him. To complete our first combination, we have selected Dendoncker of Wolves, who is the best budget enabler at 4.5 million in my opinion. In all of our subsequent options, Dendoncker will be used as the 4.5 million enabler. So this completes our first combination and the cost of this combination is 44 million. Now let's move on to option 2. In this option, we are already assuming that we have Salah and Sterling in the team. The third player in option 1 was Ryan Fraser. Let's see which other players we can choose from a similar price category as Fraser. Here we have selected Milivojevic, Lucas Moura, Maddison, Martial, Felipe Anderson and Zaha. Milivojevic was the highest scoring midfielder from last year who falls under our budget category this time, thanks to a bunch of his goals coming from the penalties won for him by Wilfried Zaha. With VAR coming in 1920 season, he could be a great option if Zaha stays at Palace. However, if Zaha leaves, then Milivojevic would not be an attractive option anymore. Lucas Moura scored 10 goals and 2 assists with 4.1 points per game. He could be a decent option at 7.5 million, but if you want him, I would recommend getting him on your first wildcard as Spurs have a mixed fixture difficulty at the start of the season. This year, the Leicester midfield is full of very good mid-priced options. Maddison scored 7 goals and 7 assists with 3.8 points per game in the 18-19 season. Priced at 7 million and also with set-piece duty, he is also a very good option. Martial scored 122 points last season. He is having a strong pre-season and is definitely one to watch out for. I would recommend Felipe Anderson of West Ham as they have great attacking options this year which will give a boost to Felipe Anderson's stats as well. If you can afford to play him in the first match against Manchester City, then definitely a good option. Otherwise get him after game week 1. Zaha scored 10 goals and 11 assists last year, but because he was listed as a forward, his stats do not look so impressive. This year he is listed as a midfielder and valued at a very appealing price of 7 million. It doesn't matter if he stays at Crystal Palace or not, he is always going to be a good option at this price range. Along with these players who are valued at a price of above 7 million, let's look at some options at 6.5 million as well. Yuri Tielemans was really impressive in the second half of last season, scoring 3 goals and providing 5 assists with 4.8 points per game. This year he is back as a permanent signing for Leicester and is one of the best picks at this price. Leicester have also signed Ayoze Perez from Newcastle and he is also valued at a very attractive price of 6.5 million. He started the preseason really well but has since got injured, and although he is a good option, I would still recommend you to go for Tielemans over Perez. The last option in this price range is David Brooks of Bournemouth. He impressed a lot in the 18-19 season, scoring 7 goals and 6 assists. Many managers are even going for Brooks over Fraser to save the extra 1 million. For now, let's pick Tielemans as our third midfielder. But before selecting any Leicester players, have a look at their fixture list because it's really tough for them at the start of the season. Even if you don't want Tielemans from the start due to their fixtures, he's definitely one to watch out for. The next player that we had selected in option 1 was Sigurdsson. Let's compare the players in similar price bracket as Sigurdsson. Paul Pogba had the highest points per game ratio of 5.1 among all the mid-priced midfielders last year. He scored 179 points with 13 goals and 10 assists. If he ends up staying at United, he will be a very good option as well. The second Everton player at the same price as Sigurdsson is Richarlison. The Brazilian has a habit of starting the season strongly before fading off in the second half of the season. Of the two, I would still recommend Sigurdsson. Bernardo Silva was instrumental in City's title win last season with 4.3 points per game. He would be a decent choice if you want a cheap but potent route into the City midfield. Dele Alli had a relatively quiet season according to his standards, which was also hampered by injury. Since he will look up to make up for lost time, he is definitely one to watch out for as well. Out of these players, let's select Pogba for option 2. Again, before you select any United players, do remember that they have very tricky fixtures at the start of the season. As discussed earlier, the best budget enabler is Dendoncker at 4.5 million. But if you can spend $500,000 more, then a lot of different options open up. Let's have a look at a few of them. We have selected Noble, Jorginho, Capoue, McTominay and Torreira. All these players except maybe McTominay are nailed on for their clubs. Noble and Jorginho are even the designated penalty taker for their clubs, and at 5 million they are not a bad choice to have, especially for the easier fixtures. I just wanted to discuss the options that are available at 5 million, but for all my combinations, I'm going to stick with Dendoncker as the budget enabler. In option 3, we replace Fraser with Zaha and Pogba with Martial. This combination costs around 44 million. Now is the time to discuss the options for those managers who want to go with only one premium midfielder. And if you want to go with one premium midfielder, let that midfielder be Salah. In option 4, we have selected Kevin De Bruyne as our second midfielder. Although he had an injury-stricken season last year, he has looked very sharp in pre-season and would be raring to make up for lost time. Also, if you get De Bruyne in place of Sterling, you save 2.5 million of your budget. Before going forward, let's look at the players in the similar price range as De Bruyne. There are not many options in this price range, with Eriksen, Son and Sané being the only other ones. Christian Eriksen has been a great FPL asset for the past many years, and if he stays at Spurs and with Trippier gone, he would be at all the set pieces, so he is definitely on my watch list. There is no point talking about Son since he is suspended for the first 2 matches of the season, so maybe you can consider him for your first wildcard. Sané has been a very frustrating player for the FPL managers, especially because of his rotation. This year, there are rumours that he is looking for a move away from Manchester City. However, if he does end up staying, he would still offer a good value option into the City attack. So in addition to Salah and De Bruyne, we have selected Eriksen, Fraser and Dendoncker, and this total combination costs around 43 million. In option 5, we have tried to reduce the budget further by selecting Lucas Moura in place of Christian Eriksen. The rest of the players are same as option 4. At the end, I would like to remind you all that this is an attempt to compare all the decent midfield players. By no means are the options discussed here perfect, and they should only be used as a reference for your own drafts. I hope you have enjoyed this video and this will make selecting your midfielders a little bit easier. I will see you soon in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.